Hey y'all, this season we're teaming up with our friends at Written Word Media. Self publishing can be a solitary gig, but book marketing doesn't have to be, even if you love it like April does. Written Word supports indie authors with email promos and ad services that actually work. Whether you're launching a new release or trying to breathe some life into a backlist title, they've got tools and real humans to help. We've met them, we really have, to help you reach the readers who are looking for books like yours. They can also help you grow your newsletter and find brand new readers.
Both Jen and I have used their services and we're huge fans. So head on over to writtenwordmedia.com and let them help you shine a light on your book.
Shine a light.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Tough Love Publishing Podcast. I'm April L. Moon, and this is my freaking amazing co host, Jen Lassalle.
I love
Today,
how I
we're going to
get.
be. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I love how I've gotten like progressively better as the season moves on. Like
I've decided that you're going to get a fun superlative every single week.
here
I
for it.
might go with themed letters for every season. We'll see on that.
Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh. I'm here for that.
They've accidentally all been F's this season, so now I'm committed.
But not BF. That would get us in trouble. So that's good.
No, I'm going to skip that one.
Anyway,
today we're going to be talking to you about writing and publishing with chronic illnesses. Before we get into that, Jen, have you got any personal updates you'd like to share this week?
I am enjoying our last full week of summer before school starts back up for the kiddos. What? Yeah.
Yes.
We don't usually get a full week like this. School actually is starting a week later than normal. Um, and because of like my daughter's swim schedule, it's usually like as soon as swim is over for the season, we go on vacation, we come back and boom, we're to school. But like we have this magic week where we don't have anything planned and it's fun. So I am enjoying being a woman of leisure.
I love that. Our school is also starting like 3 days later than usual. So typically my kid's school starts on a Wednesday, and this
Right.
year they just moved it to a Monday. So
Wow.
straight into the frying pan for the kids, which is a little concerning, but it is
Yeah.
nice to have a few extra days because our kitchen is still being remodeled.
Oh my gosh. Every
But
week you
that's
say next week. Next week should
I
be the last week.
know. I know. Well, it was technically today was like supposed to be the last day, and there have been some delays with a couple of the subcontractors.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we're
All
working
right.
on it. But
The
that's not my update this week.
Yes, give us your update. And then I want to talk about our amazing shirts for the people who are watching the YouTube and not listening.
Oh yes. Okay.
Okay.
So my update for this week is that I think I shared in a previous episode that I oftentimes struggle with craft books
Hmm.
and things like that, and that I usually listen to nonfiction and audio because that's just the preferred method for me.
Hmm.
But a couple of weeks ago, I told my sister-in-law, I was like, I'm really struggling because I always just get audiobooks for nonfiction.
Hmm.
But this book that was recommended to me that I really want to read is so old and out of print that it's only in paperback. Like it's not even in an ebook. I can't even like try to do it on Kindle. It's only in paperback. And she was like, "Oh, we'll get a highlighter." And I was going, what? And she goes, "Well, it's nonfiction." She goes, "Get a highlighter. It'll keep you more engaged with the text because you're like actively doing something to the book as you read." And I was like,
Okay.
"I don't think that's going to work, but I'm desperate because I really need to read this book." So, hot dog if it didn't work.
Hot dog.
I am just like so pleasantly surprised. I have like highlighted one entire nonfiction book and I'm like 3/4 of the way through the other one, but then my kids lost the highlighter, so I'm kind of stuck. I'm going to get another highlighter that matches because I can't switch colors 80% of the way through this book.
I think that might be my favorite thing about you. When you said that to me the other day, I was just like, that is peak April, and it's just the cutest thing in the world.
I
Because
can't
I
help
would just
it.
be like, whatever. Like I just take a pen, like whatever pen is handy, and I will like underline and stuff like that. But if I can't find that pen, I just find another pen and I'm okay.
Pens are slightly more interchangeable than highlighters. We could argue that later, though. I don't
I
want to
don't
hold
think
up the
we need to
episode
argue
too
that.
much.
That is not a hill I want to die on. You can't like,
I know I'm weird and I'm okay with it. Like
I
it's
love
fine.
that. I love that for
It
you and about you.
it makes me happy and I just roll with it. So that's
Good.
what it is. Okay, shirts. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yes. So for those of you watching on YouTube, you can't actually see the logo because we both realized that we wanted V-neck, but that meant the logo was lower. Look at us. We are so official that we have matching shirts. And I'm very excited about it because I made them, which is one of my favorite non author related creative things to do because we all need creative outlets outside of writing when writing becomes your job. So I made us some shirts. I didn't like sew them, just to clarify. I just like had the logo made and did the heat transfer and all of that fun. I'm terrible with a needle.
Sh- She's downplaying it, but I cannot do heat transfers or any of that stuff because my only crafty thing besides writing is that I mean, I can bake and crochet. That's
Yeah.
it. That's all I've got.
But can't you make soap?
Oh yeah, technically I can make lye soap.
Yeah. Because I feel like in an apocalypse, you're going to make light soap and food, and then I'm going to make sure everybody has
Oh
clothing.
man.
You see?
Okay, so I think this is a pertinent time to tell everybody that I used to write dystopian books. And I actually have quite a few apocalypse skills, but that's not really the point of being crafty.
No, I guess not. I guess if you have to use it for survival, it falls out of it. This is nice and soothing. Like during an apocalypse, nothing is self-care, right? Like
That should be on a t-shirt
I
too.
think
During an
that might be the
apocalypse,
next shirt
nothing
I
is
make.
self-care with like a cup of tea or something. No, it's gotta
Bubble
be something,
bath.
it's gotta be something preppery. We're gonna think about that.
Okay, I love it. Anyway, we're way off topic and I'm here for
Okay,
it.
so our topic today is chronic illness and publishing. To start with, we are going to get personal. We're going to share about ourselves because both Jen and I have chronic illnesses. And that's why this topic is so near and dear to our hearts. So, if you don't have a chronic illness, this may not be the episode for you. However, I think that whatever your life circumstances, whatever your health circumstances, I still think you'll get some tips about it or tips out of it about being kinder to ourselves and running your publishing business. So,
Yeah, I agree with that because, like, even if I didn't have a chronic illness, like, if my kid wakes up sick one day, like, that completely upends my day. And maybe it's in a different way or a different reason,
yeah,
but, there's other ways that you have to learn to be flexible. So I think it's great.
absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, am on the ticket to go first. So,
Okay.
I have a few things going on. The biggest one is probably my chronic rhinosinusitis with
Ugh.
nasal polyps. It is terrible. um, I have had it since I was a kid. I had the
Yeah.
first surgery when I was 6 or 7 years old. I actually asked my mom because I couldn't remember in preparation for this episode. I was like, I know what year it was. Was I 6 or was I 7? And she goes, honey, that was a long time ago. So the answer is I was either 6 or 7 and nobody remembers, but I was little, but I still remember it. It was
Yeah.
not great. It was painful. But I've had surgery 3 times throughout my life. The most recent was 2 years ago. But it's not just an occasional surgery thing. It is a constant um, it is a constant impact on my life kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Because in addition to my sinus issues, I also have asthma, allergies that kind of compound the issues and make it more of an ongoing thing. Um, and it also, I mean, sometimes even my particular chronic illness makes going to conferences awkward
Yeah, I
because,
was,
I need to blow my nose a lot. Everyone thinks you're sick. Like during the
yeah.
COVID years, everyone's like, oh, well, if you've lost your sense of smell, you're going to spread COVID. And I was going, I rarely have a sense of
I
smell. Like,
can't
what are you
remember the last
talking
time I
about?
smelled anything. Yeah.
Yeah, and it comes and goes. So, like, I am doing a lot better right now. I've made some health changes, some diet changes that have actually made a bigger impact positively than I expected. Um, but it's not gone, right? It's
Right.
not something that you get to stop having or dealing
Right.
with just because you're tired of it. I think
Yeah.
that's what really gets you. But
Well,
that's me. That's my circus.
yeah. And I
What about
want to
you?
point out because it's not just like the health issues and dealing with them when they come out, but for you, you have to be much more proactive. Like when like
Yes.
we went to a conference together in February and
Mhm.
there's extra things that you had to pack and,
Yeah.
things that you wanted to do during the day to like proactively head off a massive flare up. So
Yeah.
that you could enjoy the conference. And so it's one of those things, and it's true with every chronic illness, and I'm going to get into mine here in just a second, but it's true with every chronic illness. It's something you have to constantly be aware of and manage. And even just the
Mhm.
mental and emotional toll of that awareness is a factor in everything that you
Oh
do.
my gosh, it's so exhausting.
It is.
And like I have medical equipment that I bring with me everywhere because I have
Right.
asthma. So like I have a whole big nebulizer and all the setups and whatever. And so that by itself kind of precludes me from packing carry-on. You know, everyone's like, "Oh, don't check a bag." Like it's stuff even to that level of detail, it
Right.
affects your life, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So, I don't know.
For sure. So I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2008. So I am on the long end of this journey. I did not grow up with it. I was shortly, actually not long after I got married, that I had my first MS attack. I spent a month on our couch because I could not walk or operate my left hand. It literally was like out of the blue. I had a little bit of pain. I felt kind of funny. And then I woke up the next day and was like, hey, I can't walk. And we called a doctor, and the doctor was like, you need potassium, because I was having like seizures with my left hand. Like it was, and he's like, oh, yeah, you just need potassium, which is very much a 2008 mindset. I'm just going to say that there wasn't a lot known about the disease. And for a long time, it was like if doctors didn't know what was wrong with somebody, they were like, oh, they have MS. Um, but I like, depending on who has it, the symptoms can be different. But for me personally, I have an extreme sensitivity to heat. If it gets too hot, and I will start to flare up. I will start to lose the ability to use my left arm. I get an extreme level of mental fog. I actually live with a pretty normal, like baseline mental fog anyway. Words just escape, they disappear. And I know some of that is like mom brain and menopause brain and all those fun things. But like I've had that most of, my adult life at this point. And
Mhm.
I sometimes I cannot walk. Absolutely, like my left leg will fail me, and it permanently affects my gait. So I always have like hip and back issues because I don't walk, quote unquote, normal, simply because I can't. Like I tend to put more weight on my right side. The big thing about MS is I can be somewhat proactive about it. Sometimes I can tell when I'm going to be flaring up, or if I'm in a high stress situation, I have to be very mindful. Or like in the summer when it's hot outside, I have to be very
Yeah.
careful how much time I spend outside and what I do outside and whether I can cool my body down adequately. But the bigger problem for me is that I can literally wake up one morning and feel it and just go,
Wow.
today is the day that I can't walk today, or I can't drive today, or I can't work today, like depending on the severity of it.
Yeah, and that is I think that right there, that you just wake up one day and you have a problem, and
Hmm.
it's not something small that you can just pretend isn't happening or push through,
Right.
or like not being able to walk today is a real problem,
Right.
okay? For me, it's infections, so like my sinuses, I get infections significantly more often, like at the worst of it, I'll get one every 4 to 6 weeks.
Right.
I will have a new sinus infection and like have to go through all of that. So the thing is, like, you wake up, and if your entire face feels like somebody hit it with a hammer, you're
Right.
not getting much done. If you can't walk or use your left arm,
Yeah.
you're not going to get much done that day. That's the kind of thing that we wanted to talk about today, because even if you don't have a chronic illness of your own, like Jen said, kids get sick,
Yeah.
parents get sick. You're expected to be a caregiver for someone who might have these type of flare-ups, or just, maybe whatever your life circumstances. I won't even go into all of them. There's a lot of things that can cause that kind of sudden disruption to your schedule. In
Yeah.
the case of chronic illness, it's constant and ongoing. And that's
Yeah.
why we thought it was a topic that we really needed to discuss as an author community.
Absolutely. Super important. So let's
Okay.
talk about it now that we've cleared
So,
the air about our issues here.
yes, let's get into it. So, I think one of the things that we've maybe heard before in society, but maybe not as individual people with an illness and with a business, both,
Hmm.
is that not all of us are starting at the same starting point,
Hmm.
right? Ground zero for me is not ground zero for you.
Right.
100% for me is not 100% for you. The yardstick is not equal.
Yeah.
And I know as a person with a chronic illness that my own yardstick cannot be the same from day to day,
Right.
right? I cannot use, I feel amazing, perfect health day as the measuring stick for my success or failure, or else I will constantly feel like I'm failing,
Right. Right.
right? And it's just not the same day to day. And that's something that like mentally we have to be prepared for and to
Hmm.
say, hey, when I have a when I have a bad day, what is my plan for a bad day?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And what kind of allowances have I made in my business to make sure that I can accommodate that? So for me, when I do my quarterly planning, I intentionally mark off extra days of the month and call them not work days, just
Right.
because I have to give myself that buffer.
Yeah.
And I have to give myself an allowance for like, hey, some days I might not even make it to the computer.
Right.
Other days I might work for an hour in bed. Other days I might be at the doctor all day.
Right.
Like there's just no guaranteeing that I'm going to be able to work every single work day of the quarter or the month, whatever. So I do make special allowances for that.
Yeah, and I systemically, right, we live in a nation where the yardsticks are not equal, like just
Yes.
from a system. So I just want to acknowledge like the privilege that I have is at A, that I have my own business. And so if I call in sick, it
Yes.
doesn't adversely affect other people. I'm very blessed to
Mhm.
have the finances and a husband who can pick up the slack when I am having a bad day and, take the kids to school or do whatever needs to be done, and also is compassionate enough to understand that this is, something I can't do anything about. Like we had just gotten married when I was first diagnosed, and I felt
Mhm.
awful. Like when I was first going through this, I was really struggling with the fact that this man did not know that this was going to be a factor when we got married. And, I know it's in sickness and in health, but the way we just gotten married, like we were just
Yeah.
starting to talk about having kids. We hadn't even hit our first anniversary yet, and here we are, boom, and his wife is suddenly couch bound, and we did not know, because what happens with MS is you have these flare ups, attacks where things get worse. And then you establish a new baseline, and there very well may be a day where I cannot see anymore or walk anymore permanently, right? And at the time, we didn't know where I was going to land. So, the big thing that I learned through all of that, I just wanted to acknowledge that, like, that's such a blessing that I have that, and that's such a privilege. You're right, not all our yardsticks are created equal. If you already have a shorter yardstick and then something like this is piled on top of it, right, it makes things
Mhm.
even harder. Um,
Yeah.
but what I learned is that when I'm having a good day, what I used to do is push, 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 get as much done as I possibly could on my
Yeah.
quote unquote good days, because I didn't know when a bad day would come. And some of that was fueled by guilt, right? Some of that was my husband is,
Guilt is a beast.
it
Like,
is.
oh my gosh, the guilt. And the ridiculous thing is it's guilt over something that's not entirely in our control.
Well, and it's perceived too, right? We
Mhm.
feel bad about it. So we assume that other people are judging us for it when that's not always the case. Like, if
Mhm.
I literally cannot get off the couch, or I'm in so much pain that I can't touch anything, in my head, I'm like, my husband's going to be mad that he has to do all this, but he's not. Like, that's just me projecting what I feel on other people. So
Right.
when I had a good day, I was like, I got to get as much done as possible so that on my bad days, I can't, I won't have that guilt. But spoiler alert, you have it anyway. And go,
Oh, I was just gonna say, have you ever had the thought, I need to pull my weight?
yeah,
Like, oh, I'm not pulling my weight because I've been sick and
uh-huh,
in bed for 3 days,
yeah.
like
Yeah, and I tended to, and I still do on occasion, but catastrophize, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, I am having this bad day. This is going to set my entire plan for the entire year off. Like I've messed up everything. Like what you said about planning for it every quarter is a crucial thing that you have to do. And I'm just going to segue into your next point about sustainability and long term. Um, you have to factor in that, like, whatever you think you're going to do, you're most likely only going to do like maybe 60 or 70% of that, even on a good day.
Mhm.
And for me, on the bad days, I had to be nicer to myself about the fact that I was having a bad day and talk
Yeah.
myself through that guilt and that shame and that feeling that somehow I caused this thing or it is a character flaw or something like that when that was not the case.
Yeah. And I think our society makes it really easy to feel like it's character flaw or
Hmm.
it is a character flaw not to be productive all the time, right?
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but I don't know if that's realistic for anyone, even someone who doesn't have a chronic illness.
I mean, say no to
Um,
hustle culture, folks. Like, no.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel a little bit hypocritical saying that though, because I am like, I have never denied that I love to work. So like,
But
but
but you're doing
yeah,
it because you love it, right?
hmm,
That's a part of your personality. You do it because you love it and you want to, right? There are people
right.
that don't want to but feel like they have to, and that's the
Mm.
problem is that we're not willing to embrace like all sides of this, societally
Uh,
speaking.
Thank you. That
Yeah.
helps because as an achiever, I get a lot of the like I'm high achiever, high competition and Clifton Strings.
Right.
And sometimes I get a little bit of that negative blowback from like, oh, you shouldn't work so much. You shouldn't work on, you shouldn't want to work on
Right.
vacation, like that kind of thing. So I appreciate the clarification.
Yeah, and I just want to say, like, this is not our topic for today, but we've talked before about knowing who you are because, like, I
Mhm,
remember, like, somebody told me, and like, they were coaching me, and they were like, "You're thinking too far in the future. You need to stay in the moment." But once I started to understand, like, thinking in the future is what made, like, propelled me forward and made things happen. I was like,
mhm.
no, I don't need to stay in the moment. Like, I
Right.
enjoy thinking about the future and planning for the future, and that's what gets me excited to do the thing. So,
Mhm.
yeah, embracing who you are, and part of who you are could be that you have a chronic illness. See how I brought us
Yeah.
back on track?
It was excellent. I love
Like
it.
butter.
So smooth. Okay, so one of the other things that I wanted to point out is that long-term sustainability does not look the same for everyone either, and
Hmm.
especially if you have a chronic illness,
Yeah,
you are going to need to have like flexible sustainability and like prioritization that is on point. Okay,
mm,
because prioritizing the most impactful things for your business help build that sustainability, right? So if
yeah,
I know, hey, I'm having a moderate day, okay, I have the energy, I can get to my computer, I need to get some work done. If you waste those hours on things that don't affect your bottom line, that don't make your
hmm,
business successful in a measurable way, then you may struggle to continue with the business, right? Long
yeah,
term. So it's very crucial to have like knife sharp priorities, like to know exactly this moves the needle, this moves the needle, this sort of moves the needle, and that is a bonus. If
yeah.
I can get to that, that is a bonus, nice to have item that won't sink the ship if I don't get to it.
Right. Nora Roberts talks about juggling balls and that some of the balls are
Mhm,
glass and some of them are rubber, and it's knowing which balls you can't drop, like the ones that would
mhm,
shatter. I've always loved that analogy because I also like the idea that rubber ones will bounce back. Like we tend to think some things are important when they're not.
mhm.
The key thing is you can't prioritize things that move the needle if you don't know what moves the needle.
Yeah,
And I think a lot of, especially authors, and especially in the beginning of your career, right? Like you're trying a lot of different things, but you don't necessarily know what is the thing that's actually helping me and helping me achieve what I want to
right.
achieve with my career. So learning that is part of being able to prioritize specific things because you're prioritizing it based on like data, not necessarily feelings. Um,
Yes.
I actually keep low energy task lists and I'm going to share them as part of the podcast. That'll be our resource. I have a low energy task list for when I'm physically low on energy and one for when I'm mentally low on energy because they are not the same. Sometimes they work in tandem with MS, but there are days I can get up and I can make it to the couch. And once I make it to the couch, I can get my computer and I can do a little bit of work, but then there are days where I can't move my left hand. So I'm not going to be like running ads, right? Like there's
Mhm.
different things. So keeping that low energy task list, and I know I talk a lot about Notion, but one of the things I love about my Notion daily planner is that every task has an energy level associated with it. And that
Nice.
is
But
so
that's
cool.
something people could use even if they're not using Notion, right? You could
Right.
assign an energy value to a task.
Yes.
And I think there's more that goes into that energy value. And obviously you can share your rating system with us, like whatever, however you decided what it was. But like
It's vibes.
my mind immediately went to, well, does this make me feel energized?
Right.
Does this leave me feeling drained after I do it? Is
Yeah.
that like, how do I feel? How
Right.
does this feed me or how does this hurt me as I do it? Right.
Exactly. You're listing it much better than me because, like, literally for me, it's just vibes. It's like, yeah, I feel like that's a thing that I
There's
can do.
nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it being vibes. We just think
Yeah.
differently.
Yeah. I'm just like, that's a vibey thing. I can probably do that today. All right, we're
Mhm.
gonna call that a good low energy task. But then there's also like, oh my gosh, I can't even stomach the idea of starting that. And
Yeah.
that's a different vibe. And so that's really how I work a lot of things though, is off vibes.
So I currently handle it a little bit differently, but I do like the idea of giving it an energy rating. I'm going to steal that from myself and borrow it.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a rating, like just a
Yeah.
general feeling of how much energy. I love the idea of how much energy does a task give me, not just how
Hmm.
much energy does it take. Because there are also tasks that are really fun, right? Like maybe they take a
Hmm.
little bit of energy, but you still feel energized afterwards. You and I have frequently talked about the fact that recording this podcast has a very different effect on both of us, right? I'm always
Right.
energized after because we were engaging and we were interacting, and I love external processing because I have no idea what I'm going to say until I say it, and talking to you, and it's fun. And so I leave this and I'm all like, woo, the world is awesome, let's go do stuff. You have the opposite response to that, right? Like you're
Hmm.
drained.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
need some time alone. I need some quiet time.
Mhm.
The drive from the office back to my house while I'm recording in my temporary office is actually good because it's a low energy task. Like
Right.
driving for me, as long as it's
Yeah.
not like crazy traffic, is a low energy task. And I turn on like soft music and I'm by myself, and that actually helps refill the well a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm an introvert, so conferences are the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's a give and take. It's
Yeah.
definitely a give and take. And I love acknowledging that not all tasks affect us in the same way. I think that's a great
Yeah.
one.
Same.
The next thing I want to say is that um, not success is not the same every single day, right?
Yeah.
So some days success for me is getting out of bed, calling and making the doctor's appointment that I need,
Hmm.
and loving on my kids a little bit. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
hey, mama doesn't feel good today. Let's
Mm.
pick a movie on the couch and have a couch snuggle. And like, that's it. That's the day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I hate those days. As a person who's an achiever, I really hate those days. But I
Sure.
think it's important to acknowledge that some days that is what success looks like because I didn't push myself too far.
Right.
I allowed myself to rest, body time to heal and recover from whatever is currently causing the lack of energy.
Yeah.
Um, and other days, success can look like, man, look at this huge list of tasks that I knocked out. Look at all these words that I wrote. Look at all these
Right.
publishing tasks that I finished. So I just want to say again that like you get to determine what success looks like for you, but beyond
Hmm.
that, you get to determine it day by day, hour
Minute by
by
minute.
hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think it's really important to acknowledge when you said you hate it. I love that so much because like I feel like it's really important to acknowledge that you don't have to be like, it's okay, I have a chronic illness, la la la, right? Like that
Hmm.
will never be the thing that I advocate for. You're allowed to
No, me
hate it.
either.
You're allowed to feel depressed or angry or upset, even when you're in the midst of it and you're like, okay, I have a backup plan because I knew this might happen. That doesn't
Hmm.
necessarily mean that you have to be happy about the fact that you resorted to your backup plan. Like, it's okay to feel your feelings. And having had, and both of us, right? Because you've had yours your entire life. I have had mine for, I don't even want to do that math. I think it's 18 years unless I'm mathing wrong. Am I 16 years?
17. It's
17
2025.
years. I have
Yeah.
no idea what year it is even right now. So time is a flat circle.
Mhm.
But after 17 years, right, like the ebbing and flowing of my emotions in relation to having MS have changed somewhat because it's become more a part of my life. But that doesn't mean I'm ever like, it's cool, I have MS. Like I missed a major end of school event because I couldn't walk and I was in a lot of pain. And we had been planning, it was like this big gals brunch, like all the moms, and we had made hats and dressed up. And it was at a restaurant that I've never been to. And I really wanted to go. And I was super excited. And I woke up that morning and couldn't walk. And I was in so much pain. And I spent the day crying on the couch. And this was just 2 months ago. So that is a part of having it. And I just want to make sure that we're not like, you just be sustainable and, just allow for
No,
success and figure out what your priorities are without acknowledging that also it sucks.
it really does. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of that people like us that have chronic illnesses usually handle privately.
Yeah.
Like for me, one of the things that I don't really talk about a whole lot is that I did not get to finish high school as
Mhm.
scheduled because of my illnesses.
Really.
I was in eighth grade when they started to really get worse after the surgery that I had as a kid, like my sinuses. I was just constantly sick.
Yeah.
And I was always a good student. Achiever starts young. I was always like motivated to do well, and I tried. But I actually was going to get kicked out of my private school because I had missed too many days being sick. And they did not
Hmm.
have a homebound program because it was not a public school that would do like a homebound program. So I
Right.
actually had to leave the school and I ended up homeschooling through high school because I was literally too sick to stay in school.
And I'm
Um,
so glad I know you because my daughter has chronic sinusitis, and we have talked about this before. And
mhm,
she tends to miss a lot of school days. And
yeah.
it's been so good to know somebody that's on the other side of it or has gone through it,
Mhm.
because I'm helping her process this. Like her surgery is inevitable; it's going to happen.
Yeah, it
So
is.
yeah.
And I like I'm not saying that to make this episode more depressing, but I am saying that to say like there are real true low points,
Yeah.
right? And like you
Yeah.
said, like yes, I have spent time just crying on my couch.
Yeah.
I have spent time like telling my husband, I'm not cut out for this business.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not cut out to run my own business
Mm-hmm.
because I get sick all the time. How am I
Yeah.
supposed to make a business plan? How am I supposed to make a release plan? How am I supposed to be a fast publisher, a consistent publisher? Like consistency is key. You have to show up when readers expect you to show up. Well, if I am
Right.
literally too sick,
Right.
how? How
Yeah.
am I going to be successful at this? And the answer is it's not easy. It's not
Yeah.
fun either. Like a lot of the times, it's not the most fun.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but one of the best things I've learned about this is
Mm-hmm.
that even with my limitations, I am capable of so much more than
Yeah.
I thought possible, right? And I think
Yeah.
we all are,
Oh,
if we're
yeah.
willing to give ourselves grace.
Yeah. We absolutely, like, if someone else, I'm going to steal your talking point. I can't help myself.
Again,
If I was, I know I am so
it's okay.
naughty.
Go
Uh,
for it. Steal away.
if I was talking to you and you were having a bad day because you woke up with a sinus infection or you were having headaches, all of your stuff, I would be like, hey, it's okay. You're going to be all right. Today is just one day. You have a plan, yada, yada, yada. But if I wake up with an MS flare, the sky is falling and I am the worst, right? Like, I do
Mhm.
not extend that grace that I give to others to myself when it comes to my chronic illness. Other things too,
Yeah.
but that's just,
It's
yeah,
absolutely true because
yeah,
like I will 100% tell someone else like, hey, it's okay, we all need sick days, we all we all have downtimes, we all need rest. Like I will tell you that, and then I will be my own worst critic till the day I
right.
die.
Yep,
Like
yep, yep.
yeah, it's very true.
Ooh, those inner voices are brutal.
They are
So, what other
um
lessons, since I stole one of yours, what have
that's
you learned from
okay.
having a chronic illness that your little thief friend didn't
So
take?
uh-huh. One of my other lessons is that like I really genuinely do appreciate the good days more.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it does not make the bad days easier. So I'm not going to like spend that BS and say like, oh, we'll just appreciate the good days and the bad days won't matter. Oh,
Right.
no, the
Right.
bad days still matter. They still suck.
Yeah.
But I genuinely do appreciate the days when I feel great.
Yeah.
Um, and I try really hard to like lean into that and
Mm-hmm.
not to let the looming possibility of another bad day tarnish the one I'm in, right? If I'm in a
Yeah.
good day, I try to enjoy it and I try to make the best of it, not in like working myself to death, but in
Right.
like if it's the weekend, I'm going to try to get the kids and go somewhere or do something, or even if it's just to take them to get ice cream, right? Then
Yeah.
I want to try to be present and active and emotionally available, when I'm having those good days on purpose.
Yeah.
Um,
There's a difference between enjoying a good day because you're having a good day and making the most of it and pushing yourself on that good day in fear of the
right.
bad day. And that I think is
Yes.
what you found, that balance.
I'm not saying I'm perfect at the balance by
Nobody's
any
perfect.
means, but I do try to say like, hey, this is a really good day.
Hmm.
Let's do something awesome with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
So
Yeah.
what about you? What's a lesson you've learned?
I think I actually just kind of touched on it, but and I want to say like societally speaking, we really are afraid to fail. Like not just in business, but in life. Like
Yes.
we really try to make everything perfect or do everything the quote unquote right way the first time. And when you have a chronic illness, flexibility is crucial. You're
Mm,
going to have to pivot, period. You're not going to be productive as a person who does not have a chronic illness or does not have a job or, wakes up with the sun and doesn't have children and made that choice for themselves, right? Like,
right.
then on top of that, you have a chronic illness that may surprise you. So it's okay to be flexible and
Hmm.
pivot, and being adaptable is not a sign of failure, right? But it's okay if we fail at something and then we have to pivot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have low adaptability and I need you to know that I kind of hated that, but I do agree that you're right.
But you know what? I have low adaptability. We're talking about Clifton strengths. I also like it's my dead last adaptability. Like I'm not a high adaptable person, but I'm high developer and I'm high arranger. And so I can like reconfigure things to like make it work. So, and also
I know.
I'm pro therapy and pro processing things that come out from trauma. And I think quite frequently a fear of failure comes from a place of trauma or worrying about external perception of you as opposed to actually being like curious. Like, I'm
Mhm.
curious, what would my day look like if I woke up with an MS attack and instead of being hard on myself, I was compassionate and graceful like I would be to my best friend?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that helps a lot. If you can master that mindset, I think that does help a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't have to master it
Um,
because mastering it is trying to be perfect at it right away, right? It's just a
okay.
mindset to be curious about whether or not you can adapt.
Okay, point taken. I got it.
Love
I got
you.
it. Love you too. Ah. Okay, so I think one of my last lessons learned is that as much as I hate my chronic illness and as much
Mhm.
struggle as it has brought to my life, if it was not for my chronic illness, I don't know if I would be an author today.
Mm.
And being an author is one of the best things that's happened to me because I love it. I love my career. I love the people that I've met. I love being able to provide for my family while wearing leggings and working from my bed if I have to.
And
Like,
we're in a cute t-shirt.
yeah, or wearing a cute t-shirt. I'm actually wearing jeans today. I would like credit for real pants. I think
I
that's a
don't have
thing
real
as an
pants on,
author.
so.
um, but being that kid who was always sick, always being home, always, always not wanting to be outside where the allergens were or inside where the allergens were, frankly, because I'm allergic to
Yeah.
life, basically.
Yeah.
It made me a reader. And, it really
Yay.
gave me a love of reading. It gave me a love of writing. And I started using writing as an outlet in elementary school when I was going through all of this for the first time. And I just never stopped.
I
Like,
love that.
in the early days, people asked me if I always wanted to be a writer, and I would say no. And that's true because young me, who was allergic to everything, was still very convinced I was going to be a large animal veterinarian,
Oh,
because I love horses and I had horses growing up. So I wanted to be a horse vet because I loved horses so much. And what could possibly be better? Well, when you're allergic to the outdoors, that's kind of
right.
problematic, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Because
and
that's where
also
the
I
horses are.
yeah, because that's where the horses are. Anyways, but I think, if it wasn't for the fact that I was always reading, I was always carrying a book around, like it didn't matter what doctor's office I was at, I had a friend with me because I had a book with me,
Hmm. Yeah,
and that's
I
brought
love
me to
that.
where I am today. And I'm okay with it. I like where I am today.
I like where you are today too, especially because
Oh,
it's with
thank you.
me. My last point in terms of lessons learned is multiple sclerosis is an autoimmune disease, and autoimmune diseases are always kind of ironic to me because, like, it's literally your body attacking itself, right? Like, your body
Mhm.
thinks that you are a foreign invader. What I found is that having grown up with, and I'm going to offer just a little trigger warning for anyone who might be experiencing any kind of like body trauma or food issues or eating disorders or anything that I am not qualified to speak on. Um, but the irony of hating my body and then it literally attacking itself was something that I really had to work through and process. And can I find a way to either be neutral about my body or be positive about my body, despite the fact that it has this quote unquote flaw, right? Like that I have this chronic illness. And when I was experiencing extreme flare ups and I was berating that body of mine that wouldn't walk or wouldn't move or was not doing what it was supposed to do, that was just a dangerous downward spiral. And it led to some very deep, dark places. And so, what I had to learn was that my body is my body. I don't have to love it. I'm a big fan of body neutrality. Like, I don't think we all have to like love our bodies. Um, but I wasn't going to hate it.
Right.
Yeah.
I think
Woo.
for me, I've dealt with a lot of the sense that my body has betrayed me.
Yes.
And not that I love it or hate it so much for me. That hasn't really been a huge issue for me. But what
Mhm.
has been an issue is feeling betrayed.
Yeah.
Like I take care of you. Why don't you take care of me?
Right.
Kind of thing, even though it doesn't work like that.
Right.
Um, and I think I've made more of my peace with that. But, on a bad day,
Yeah.
that's not 100% true. It just is what
Well,
it is.
and
But yeah,
and
but
go ahead and get to your tough love moment because you're talking about
okay.
100%, and I think that's a
Okay.
lovely segue into your tough love moment.
Okay. All right. So my tough love moment for today actually started as a financial concept because I'm a finance nerd in addition to being like a business nerd. And there's this podcaster, blogger that I loved, and her thing was you can afford anything, but not everything. Right. And that was
Hmm.
her thing. Her name was Paula Pant. Loved her, read her for years. And I think it's true in more than just your finances, right? I feel
Yeah.
like we can do anything.
Hmm.
If it is important to you, if it is something that really means something to you, you can do anything,
Hmm.
but you cannot do everything,
Yeah.
right? And you certainly can't do everything on the same day or the same week or the same month
Right.
sometimes. But if something is important to you and you chip away at it, I think there's not much in this life that we can't do and we can't achieve. So my tough
Oh.
love today is believe in yourself, stick with it, have the grace for yourself that you would have for others, right? And know that you can do it, even with a chronic illness, even if you can't do it all at once. There you go.
I'm I'm laughing because I feel like you had the love moment today and I had the tough moment today. And I really love it when we switch places. Um, so if you have or have been diagnosed with a chronic illness, or you've been living with one, and I would even go as far as to include like mental illnesses and mental health
Mhm.
issues in that. Um, it's not something you can just push through. You can't just ignore it and be like, I have that, but I'm going to go on this path anyway. And the harder you try to do that, the worse you're going to feel mentally, emotionally, physically. You're going to send yourself to the wrong places. um Embracing that this is a part of you, and again, not liking or loving or feeling like it's okay, but just understanding and accepting this is a part of me and I need to learn to manage it to the best of my ability, makes that up down sensation less chaotic, right? There's not the high highs and the low lows, because you are keeping it in mind all of the time, and it makes things go smoother. But we tend to want to push things aside and say, I should be able to do this thing. You might not, at least until you embrace that or accept. I embrace even sounds positive to me, but accepting that you have this and you may have to alter your plans based on this is going to be the best way to determine your path forward.
I like it. And I think it's true. I think sometimes it can be like a rubber band. The harder you snatch it back, the harder it's going to snap you. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? It's
Yeah.
not pushing through when you really don't have the energy reserves or the physical or mental or emotional capacity to do something,
Mm-hmm.
usually has consequences. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially with chronic illness. I agree 100%. Unfortunately, I wish I didn't agree on this one.
I know. I know.
Anyways,
Yeah.
that's all we've got for today.
Yay. So light and
Thank
fluffy.
you. Yes, so we haven't been super light and fluffy so far.
Yeah.
I do wish we had thought to go into some more like hard resources, like for actual publishing instead of like because we went full conversation mode, which I think was good. I wish we thought of some resources. But if you guys have any questions about how we do the mechanics of working with this,
Mm-hmm.
leave them in the comments, drop us a comment on YouTube, let us know so that we can answer those questions. And maybe that could be a follow-up episode. If you have specific questions about how do we manage the flexibility, how do we manage
Right.
running a business at this level, right?
Right. Right. How do you write with a chronic illness? How do you publish
Flexibly,
with a
right.
chronic illness? Yes.
Right. So if you have
Yes.
specific questions, please do let us know. Like and subscribe for next week's not at all as depressing episode.
I actually don't know if that's true. I don't know.
Next week's going to be great. It is not going to be depressing. All right. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
And before we go, I wanted to take a moment again to say thank you to our friends at Written Word Media for supporting season 1 and this episode. If you're an indie author looking to reach more readers without losing your mind or your writing time, check out their email promos and ad services. They make book marketing feel doable. And if you're anything like me, you might even find it fun.
Head to writtenwordmedia.com and take the next step in getting your book into the right reader's hands.